stumbling through the leafy commons, stumbling through the leafy commons, stumbling through the leafy commons. Tippani 1, folding. Tippani 1, folding. Tippani 2, spurious. Tippani 2, spurious. Tippani 2, spurious. Tippani 3, vendetta. Tippani 3, vendetta. Tippani 4, sedentary. Tippani 4, sedentary. Folding, spurious, vendetta, sedentary. Folding, spurious, vendetta, sedentary. Spotology. Spotology is the study of stretched surfaces and their transformation under various conditions of folding and deformation. A recent report from the Future Studies Commission has declared spotology as the discipline that will have an ever-increasing influence in all spheres of human cognition. And now that this report is out, we all know that what you will get started with. You will soon start claiming that spotology is also an ancient discipline. Spotology is an ancient discipline since it was originally discovered in the hallowed texts of vendetta. And some of you have already fished out some spurious verse from the supposedly missing canto in the 4th book of Vendetta. But you can shout as much as you want, but your claim is simply not true. First of all, let me remind you that an antecedent, even a shadowy, dodgy antecedent, is simply not the same thing as a proven causal root. An actual physical surface, 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 an actual physical surface. Tippani 1, pebbles. Tippani 1, pebbles. Tippani 2, secure. Tippani 2, secure. Tippani 3, statist. Tippani 3, statist. Tippani 4, fidelity. Tippani 4, fidelity. Pebbles, secure, statist, fidelity. Pebbles, secure, statist, fidelity. Pico and her friends have grown up among these mountains and hills. But what draws them to these mountains are not their picturesque nature, but rather their obdurate quality. The very fact that they continue to exist and have resisted all attempts to denude them into pebbles. Which is why over the years, these mountains have inspired 1,000 acts of resistance, a long and a glorious history of protests that have protected the fierce autonomy of this region. Many of these resistance movements have been against various kinds of traders, against various kinds of merchants and traders, particularly the traders of enlightenment. Till some months back, Pico was secure in the knowledge that whatever happens, each and every detail of these resistance movements have been archived for posterity in the official records. However, when her friend who works at the State Archives informed her that many of the files containing the records of these protests have gone missing, she instinctively knew that she had to get the archives back into the community. Pico realized that she had to release the archives from their physical statist infrastructure and she had to release the archives back into the world of orality. She had to bring the archives back into the world of orality. But she had to do that But she had to do that while still maintaining the fidelity to the original archive. And the only way she could bring it back into orality while still maintaining the fidelity to the original archive was to teach young children to memorize the archives, section by section. The affective intensity with which they immersed themselves in the global anti-apartheid movement was indeed exemplary. So how did they feel when they realized that anti-apartheid will soon become history? Well, the truth is that their anxiety at the loss of their beloved target of moral outrage far exceeded their pleasure at the success of the global anti-apartheid movement. Therefore, it was to deal with this collective anxiety that they had convened that emergency meeting in that cramped room over there. They wanted to ask themselves the crucial question: after anti-apartheid, what would be the target of their moral outrage? Was there anything closer home, perhaps in this land, that could offer them the same heady combination of moral outrage and substantive theoretical content? After all, apartheidnists did provide them with a great example for their scholarly dissertations on the Eurocentric blindness of Western liberal political philosophy. Now, with apartheidnists gone, would they ever find another example like that? Since of course, in this very land where they lived, in their own colonies and townships and agraharas, they were pretty sure that those places were completely devoid of racism. Therefore, if their townships and agraharas were completely devoid of racism, would they have to once more look outside their own country to find a suitable target of moral outrage? At this emergency meeting, 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 at this emergency meeting.